Welcome, viewers. Today we explore a dark mystery hidden inside the ancient Mayan jungles. For 4 centuries, stone pyramids and carved glyphs remained silent to the Western world. Experts dismissed these strange symbols as decorations, denying the rich history they held. The vital key was ruined in the 16th century by a fierce friar, Diego de Landa. Yet, a lonely Soviet soldier rose from the ashes of war to break this impossible code. Ancient records state the mighty Maya ruled vast lands across Central America for centuries. Massive stone pyramids pierced the thick jungle canopy, standing as monuments to their great power. Unlike other empires, their voice was completely lost when conquerors arrived on their shores. For generations, explorers wandered these ruined cities, staring at bizarre, complex carvings. Faces of strange gods, fierce animals, and complex shapes covered every grand temple wall. Western experts looked at these detailed glyphs and confidently declared them to be simple art. This arrogant assumption blinded the scientific world for hundreds of long and silent years. They believed a society deep inside a tropical rainforest could never invent a real script. At best, researchers thought these markings were just a complex calendar to track the high stars. They thought the Maya were just peaceful astronomers, gently observing the heavens above. But the truth was locked away, hidden in plain sight, waiting for someone brilliant to listen. To understand why the Maya code became unreadable, we must travel to the 16th century. When Spanish ships arrived in Central America, they brought strict faith and devastating swords. Among the newly arrived colonial leaders was a powerful friar, Diego de Landa. Driven by a strong desire to convert the natives, he viewed their ancient culture as pure evil. He ordered the complete destruction of every single Mayan idol and sacred object found. But his greatest offense against human history happened one terrible night in the town of Mani. Records detail how he gathered thousands of priceless books made from bark paper and set them ablaze. These fragile pages contained the entire knowledge of a civilization that thrived for ages. Native priests wept in total agony as they watched their sacred science turn into gray ash. In just a few horrific hours, the collective memory of the Maya world was erased forever. Ironically, the man who silenced their written language left behind the only clue to its revival. Years later, trying to justify his brutal actions, Diego de Landa wrote a massive journal. Inside this dusty notebook, he scribbled a rough translation of what he thought was their alphabet. He asked a native man to draw the specific symbols that matched the Spanish letters A, B, and C. For the next 4 centuries, Western scholars treated this journal as the holy grail of decoding. They desperately tried to match the stone carvings to the simple letters Landa had sketched. But every single attempt ended in total failure, leaving the greatest minds completely frustrated. No matter how hard they tried to rearrange the symbols, the words produced were pure gibberish. The fundamental flaw was their own cultural bias, assuming all languages worked like European ones. The Mayan code remained locked in silence, guarding its dark secrets from a world refusing to learn. As decades turned into centuries, majestic ruined cities were swallowed by the creeping jungle. It seemed the voices of the ancient kings would be permanently buried beneath the weight of time. But destiny often finds the most unlikely heroes in the darkest corners of human history. Fast forward to 1945, as World War II was reaching its terrifying, bitter end. The mighty city of Berlin was completely engulfed in smoke and flames, bombed by Allied forces. Amidst total devastation, a young Soviet artillery spotter wandered through the city ruins. His name was Yuri Knorozov, a brilliant student whose dreams were paused by the cruel war. Exploring the burning remains of the National Library, he noticed books scattered among the ashes. Risking his own life, he managed to rescue a single volume before the roaring fire consumed it. This salvaged book contained a rare copy of Diego de Landa's infamous historical journal. Alongside it, he found beautiful printed copies of the only 3 surviving Maya manuscripts. When the brutal war finally ended, Yuri returned to the Soviet Union with this grand treasure. Back in Leningrad, he locked himself in a tiny, dimly lit office to solve this ancient puzzle. Standing at the edge of this impossible mystery, would you dare to challenge the entire world? For years, Knorozov studied the ancient texts, ignoring the harsh political climate of the time. He realized past scholars made a massive and completely fatal error in their basic methods. Landa asked the native speaker to provide the symbols for the Spanish letters A, B, and C. But the Maya did not use an alphabet. They wrote using complex phonetic syllables instead. When the friar said the letter A, the confused native man drew the symbol representing that sound. Knorozov deduced the Maya script was a beautiful mix of word signs and phonetic sounds. This complex system functioned remarkably similar to modern Japanese, mixing meaning with sound. To prove his bold theory, he focused intensely on a recurring symbol of a turkey offering. Using Yucatec Maya language, he knew the spoken word for this turkey offering was simply cuts. He carefully broke the word into syllables, ku and tsu, and matched them perfectly to Landa's notes. The phonetic pieces aligned flawlessly, revealing a hidden structure that Western scholars missed. In 1952, Knorozov published his findings, hoping to be celebrated by the world. Instead, his brilliant discovery was met with brutal mockery and harsh rejection from scholars. The leading Mayanist, Eric Thompson, publicly ridiculed his work as communist propaganda.
We will not tolerate it.
Thompson sternly insisted the glyphs were mystical concepts, denying they represented spoken words. Due to bitter Cold War tensions, any idea from the Soviets was treated with deep suspicion. The young Russian genius found himself completely isolated, fighting a lonely battle alone. But true scientific facts cannot be suppressed forever, regardless of borders dividing societies. A new generation of researchers began testing his phonetic method on newly found stone pillars. To their absolute astonishment, the once silent markings began to spell out recognizable words. The dark, impenetrable wall of history finally cracked open, allowing the Maya voice to be heard. It was a monumental triumph of perseverance over centuries of arrogance and destruction. These carved inscriptions quickly shattered the romanticized view of this deeply mysterious culture. They were not just peaceful stargazers. Decoded texts revealed ruthless kings and brutal politics. The stones proclaimed stories of strategic alliances, tragic conquests, and final royal tributes. The mighty Maya rulers had recorded their own complex history, just like the emperors of Rome. Thanks to the undeniable brilliance of a Soviet linguist, a culture was given back its true voice. Yuri Knorozov lived long enough to witness his theories become the foundation of Mayan studies. Before passing away, he famously declared that there are no undecipherable writing systems. His journey reminds us that the truth hidden in stones will always outlast the flames of ignorance. The old establishment slowly crumbled as new scholars tested his brilliant phonetic theories. They traveled to the ruined temple of Palenque to apply the Russian method directly to stones. Suddenly, the ancient names of powerful lords and victorious generals became clear and vocal. For the very first time, researchers read the exact birth dates and grand conquests of the ancient kings. The decipherment fully shattered the myth of a peaceful and spiritual society. Instead, writings revealed deeply complex states, locked in constant and devastating jungle warfare. We learned about the great king Pakal, whose stunning jade tomb rivaled the pharaohs of Egypt. We learned of terrifying rituals where rulers offered their vital essence to sustain the universe. Each carved monument was a billboard designed to project absolute divine royal authority. Captured enemies frequently met a devastating fate to appease their highly demanding storm gods. This harsh reality made the Maya incredibly human, driven by power and deep fear. The vivid texts fully restored the missing political dimension of this lost civilization. Millions of living Maya descendants finally gained access to their own glorious heritage. For centuries, colonial masters tried to erase their identity and mental worth. Diego de Landa believed he had successfully burned away the entire soul of the Maya. But the resilient stones hidden in the jungle had quietly survived the devastating massive fires. They patiently waited for someone possessing linguistic genius to finally unlock their truth. That solitary genius was a man working thousands of miles away behind the Iron Curtain. Yuri Knorozov spent his life studying a distant land he was never fully permitted to visit. If you deciphered the greatest mystery of an ancient world, how would you handle feeling trapped? The Soviet leaders repeatedly denied his requests to travel to the ancient ruins. He translated the mighty pyramids strictly from photographs and dusty papers in a tiny room. Despite this massive obstacle, his sharp mind mentally wandered through the grand Maya palaces. Only in the early 1990s did the aging scholar finally see his dream realized. The Guatemalan president formally invited Knorozov to visit the majestic ruins. Standing before the towering stones he had translated, he simply wept in profound, quiet joy. He was highly honored with the prestigious Order of the Aztec Eagle by the Mexican state. The man who was once mocked by Western experts was now globally celebrated as a true hero. This remarkable story teaches us a profound lesson about the enduring strength of knowledge. Fanaticism and hate can easily burn fragile paper and violently destroy ancient temples. An empire can violently force native people to abandon their ancient cultural customs. But true ideas and linguistic structures are incredibly resilient and hard to truly erase. The brilliant legacy of the Maya scribes waited silently in the dark jungle for someone to learn. It took a linguist in a Soviet uniform to boldly bridge the massive gap across the centuries. Pure science finally defeated religious zealotry and bitter, dividing political factions. Today, experts can confidently read nearly 90% of all surviving Maya inscriptions. Their glorious poetry and epic royal sagas are now fully accessible to humanity. We owe this incredible miracle to a man who refused to follow flawed, older European rules. Knorozov possessed the courage to boldly challenge established authorities and question their logic. He proved that a writing system reflects the brilliant complexity of the human mind perfectly. Every stroke on those limestone pillars represents the beating heart of an ancient civilization. The Spanish friar desperately tried to silence them, believing his fiery actions were deeply just. The phonetic symbols deeply carved into ancient stones proved to be vastly stronger than his fire. Observing these beautiful hieroglyphs today, we must always remember the tragic ancient cost. The lost souls of the Maya priests, who wept as their precious libraries burned into thick, black smoke. And the lonely journey of a brilliant Russian soldier who finally gave them back their true voice. Because the greatest treasures of human history are always preserved within the power of words. His dedication resurrected a lost world, proving true knowledge cannot be burned by pure ignorance. Does Landa's journal justify his cultural destruction? Please share your deep thoughts below. If you enjoyed this journey, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more historical dives.